Hi, I'm Brenda Ordonez. This is Chicago This Week. We begin with an international story with local consequences. Fighting continues in Sudan between the Sudanese armed forces and a paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces. Americans living there have gotten assistance to flee from the U.S. government, but some say the help is not enough. Mia Bearden has more on those struggling to get Sudanese family members out of danger. Hi, Mia.
Hi, Brenda. Fighting and insecurity has left tens of thousands to flee Sudan in search of safety in neighboring countries. Here's more on that story. Many have expressed frustration with the U.S. State Department about what they said was lack of support in evacuating Sudan.
None of these people want to be in a war zone. None of these people want to have their kids' lives endangered or their loved ones in harm's way. And yet the United States government evacuated 70 diplomats on 3 helicopters and left the rest to rot. The other nations were picking up the slack.
The State Department confirms a second U.S.-led convoy has arrived in Port Sudan to evacuate private citizens. Some of those leaving will head to Saudi Arabia, while others will receive help to reach other destinations. There are Americans who are desperate to find a way out, but continue to face many hardships, including robbery.
Anything that they could find, such as gold or money. And if you don't have cash on you, then I've heard that they actually tell you to open up it's called a bank app, which is like pretty much like a bank app, just like we have. And then they make you transfer all of the money that you have in your account. So it is pretty nerve-wracking because if you kind of don't abide by that, if you say no, then they can actually execute you on the spot.
It's estimated that still over 4,000 Americans are asking the U.S. government for guidance.
There's got to be constant communication, and that's what my concern is. There must be constant communication with our American citizens, and so that we can give them the appropriate guidance when it's safe to move and how to move, and to make sure that they then get transport from land to one of the other countries where they can be found in a safe fashion.
In Chicago, Mia Bearden, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Mia. Here in Chicago, I covered a powerful protest in support of sexual assault survivors. Participants sent a loud message without making a sound. Take a look. The silence was deafening, but the message was loud. On Friday, survivors of sexual assault gathered outside of the Daily Plaza, located on the corner of West Washington and North Clark Street, to take part in the annual Standing Silent Witness protest.
It's just a protest that we do every year at the end of the month, where everyone gathers for 1 hour and stands there in silence or sits in silence to bring awareness to the silencing of survivors.
But for survivor Karen Schmitz, this protest goes beyond raising awareness.
I was raped when I was 16 years old, so now I'm 33, so for me to be able to take up space now this long after the fact, I think is really telling that it just stays with you and that it's never too late to be a part of something like this.
More than 30 individuals stood in the protest wearing shirts with distinct messages and holding signs with clear statements, making sure nothing was left unsaid. The protest was organized by Resilience, a local organization that has helped survivors of sexual violence since 1974. Organizers say they plan to continue hosting events like this in the future in hopes of reaching more survivors and letting them know they're not alone.
To have an organization, have a community around you and support, it just feels really empowering.
In downtown Chicago, I'm Brenda Ordonez, Chicago This Week. Ever since billionaire Elon Musk took over Twitter, there have been issues. A reported rise in hate speech, falling revenue, and new fees for verification. That in turn has led to more fake accounts. As Demita Menezes reports, fake tweets have confused motorists right here in Chicago.
I'm standing outside right in front of DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and as you can see, there are cars driving by without any closures, without any blockages, as per usual. But a week ago, you may have seen this tweet on Twitter.
Tweets posted by fake city accounts announced that DuSable Lakeshore Drive would be closed indefinitely. The accounts posing as Mayor Lori Lightfoot and the Chicago and Illinois Departments of Transportation said that the closures were a decarbonization effort. Chicago Tribune reporter Jake Sheridan was casually scrolling Twitter in the morning when he came across the tweets that were garnering hundreds of thousands of views. Although the account appeared genuine, Sheridan noticed a typo in the account's username and suspected foul play.
Twitter taking away that blue checkmark does make it harder for people to tell if information is trustworthy or not.
Sheridan says this wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Twitter ending its free verification check. Now, users will have to pay $8 a month for the verification badge on their profiles. The mayor's office spokesperson said that they are aware of the tweets and were working to take them down. As of this report, all the accounts have been suspended. In Lakeview, I'm Demita Menezes, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Demita. Stories about tornadoes destroying communities are not new. What is new is that more and more of those destructive tornadoes are occurring closer to home. Abby Buston talked to experts about how weather changes have put Illinois in a dangerous path. Hi, Abby.
Well, Brenda, while the weather is sunny right now, it is changing in a very extreme way, according to research. Illinois could be seeing a lot more severe weather in our future.
Whether it's sunny or cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms, weather is always changing. And with climate change as a new factor, this can put some in more danger than before.
It's when it goes into underserved communities, mobile home villages and things like that. It can really impact those areas.
But one of the most unpredictable changes? Tornadoes. Scientists Dr. Victor Gonzini and Dr. Harold Brooks researched theories on the shift of Tornado Alley. This time, it includes Chicago.
The traditional tornado alley we know that goes from Texas through Oklahoma and up through Kansas really is starting to shift eastward to a new kind of tornado alley that really goes from Mississippi through Alabama all the way up to here in Chicago.
This prediction is having dangerous effects on communities not used to tornadoes.
Well, the human aspect of it is these areas are not built to withstand these large, long-track tornadoes. In Oklahoma, they have building codes that, they have to be wind rated up to X point. But in the Southeast, trailer park communities don't have the same building standards.
Now, more than ever, scientist Scott Collis says you must have a plan, have a ready-to-go medical kit, and have a weather radio. Meanwhile, Argonne scientists like Collis are working on better imagery tools to understand climate and weather changes.
A little bit of increase is happening.
Yes. So Argonne National Lab, through both the Community Research on Climate and Urban Science and the Atmospheric Radiation Measurement User Facility, are taking new measurements of the atmosphere to unveil new physics that can go into new simulations of our weather and our climate.
From Lamont, Illinois, I'm Abby Buston, Chicago This Week.
Hello, I'm Ophelia Dane, live with a business report. This year marks the 15th anniversary of the Small Business Expo, Chicago's largest business networking event. It's back in town and thousands of people were there. Check it out.
Small Business Expo is the largest business networking event in Chicago. Every year it comes to help small businesses thrive.
This one has been the strongest show we've ever had here in Chicago, and the most exhibitors and the most attendees as well.
The event has over 100 exhibitors and 20 different workshops and seminars. One of the most popular stations is the 2-minute speed networking rounds.
I had to go talk with about 15 people consecutively, got about 5 people that I'll be able to use in my endeavors of what I'm trying to do in my business.
Exhibitors say it's a great opportunity to put their name on the map.
Some of the connections we made last year, we went through the year with them, and this year we've made some new ones.
The show producer says close to 5,000 people registered to attend the event.
It's been kind of difficult now since COVID. It's just like the first big function where it's business focused that I've actually been able to attend.
I think it's been a great event. I've met a lot of people.
The CEO says every year businesses walk out with connections and even investment.
Spring is often a time for people to refresh their wardrobe, redecorate their home, or even update their art collection. In this week's Living Local segment, Julia O'Leary takes us to a place where you can do all those things and meet the artists behind the designs.
Starbucks has announced a new line of drink. This special Valentine's Day event will be going.
The 7th annual one-of-a-kind spring show was at the Mart this weekend. This event aims to connect artists with an art-loving community. Over 300 excited artists from Hawaii to Toronto had their work featured, and thousands of Chicagoans were searching for that one-of-a-kind piece.
Every spring, over 300 artists from all over North America travel to Chicago to attend One of a Kind at the Mart. The 3-day event features a curated mix of art, fashion, photography, jewelry, home goods, gourmet food, and much more. For 40 emerging artists who went through a competitive selection process, it's their first time here.
I knew I had to be at least 3-4 months ahead of time to sign up, so at least I have a chance to get into. So I did my best to be on time, and I was lucky enough to get in. So I'm really excited to be here and to show off my work.
For other artists, they've been coming to this event for years.
What this does for me is really introduces us to some amazing people, folks that are volunteering and believe in the mission of our organization.
And connecting these artists to an art-loving community is the goal of this event.
Some of my biggest collectors anywhere in the country are in Chicago. When they know that I'm here, they come here, but it also benefits other people, you know, when you have that art-loving client. They're like, oh, I'm gonna get a ring from Shamila, then I'm gonna go to the gourmet market, I'm gonna do this, you know.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, we take you behind the scenes of the Chicago Bears NFL Draft.
Chicago Bears.
A local high school standout and Northwestern grad goes pro.
Tennessee!
And we visit the runway at Chicago Fashion Week. Stay tuned.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm Max Olson with Chicago This Week Sports. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young was the #1 NFL draft pick last week. He'll be joining the Carolina Panthers. The Chicago Bears went into the draft with the #9 overall pick. Our reporters Ayanna Bronner and Raylan Lee were at the team's official draft event. They bring us the report.
Bears, Bears, and more Bears.
Join us inside of Soldier Field for the Chicago Bears draft party.
Come enjoy this full circle event as we welcome some of the newest players and on-the-field family fun experiences.
With the 10th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee.
All right.
I think it was a good pick. I really thought they was going to get Jalen Carter, when unfortunately they ended up trading their pick, which upsetted me. But they did get some pass protection, which was real good, so I'm happy about that.
With the Bears taking Darnell Wright at number 10, this is the first time Chicago has selected a player on the offensive line in the top 10 since 1983, when the Bears took Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion Jim Covert at number 6.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Bears fans? Darnell Wright here, ready to get to work. Bear down, baby.
I think it was a great pick. I think it was real smart to trade back to number 10 and just get those extra picks, though, because we got a lot of holes to fill.
I'm here at the 40-yard dash to see which fan thinks they have the fastest time. And by the looks of 6'3", I don't know if I'm beating that.
Unofficial sub 5'2". That's what I'm hearing from people in the back.
It was 6'2'3". I almost fell at first. It was 6'2'3", which is, I was hoping for sub 6, but it didn't happen.
The kickers behind me are killing it. I know for sure I can't kick a ball. Look at what they're doing.
The field goal kicking, it might be hard for a Bears fan to hear, but it's harder than it seems. It was not good for me.
While hundreds of fans continue to enjoy their draft party experience, they also share why they are die-hard Bear Down fans.
I was born and raised in Chicago, so die-hard Bears fan. Since I've been born, love the Bears.
I was born in Chicago, go Bears, Bear Down, till I die.
Just grew up in a Bears culture. I think we're going up. Super Bowl incoming.
Well, Ayanna, tonight has been one jam-packed night. So much to take away from it. Tell me, what are your thoughts and what are you taking away from it tonight?
While the move to Arlington Heights is still in the question, the fan support will always be there. Bears fans will be Bears fans. What are your thoughts, Raylan?
My thoughts, I need to become a Bears fan because tonight's spirit was unbelievable. But that's all the time that we have for tonight. I'm Raylan Lee.
I'm Ayanna Bronner.
From Soldier Field.
Chicago This Week.
The Tennessee Titans picked a Northwestern Wildcat in the draft. The offensive tackle learned his skills at Maine South High School. John Riker went to Maine South to talk about the now famous grad. Hey, John.
Thanks, Max. Titans left tackle Peter Skoronski paved his way from Maine South to the NFL. Now, his example is setting the tone for Maine South's next generation of football players.
There's no off-season for Maine South football, and this spring's workouts have been especially exciting.
The Tennessee Titans select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, Northwestern.
Tennessee!
Skoronski was a Maine South legend who is still inspiring the next generation of Hawks players.
Coach talks about him almost every day and the stuff he does. So,
well, he's a really quick learner out in the field, so I try and just learn quickly on the fly.
Skoronski dominated on offense, defense, and basketball and track and field, and in the classroom, and was one of his class's valedictorians at Maine South.
And you could just see right away the impact he was going to have on our team.
He's playing left tackle. He would coach the right tackle. He would coach the right guard. He would yell to him in the middle of the play to tell him who to block. That's leadership.
That imprint continues to this day, and Maine South can't wait to see him tear up the NFL.
Hey, Peter, good luck, brother!
Reporting from Park Ridge, John Riker, Chicago This Week.
Switching to baseball now, Elena Sklar went to a Cubs game in Wrigleyville to give us an update on where the team stands a month into the season. Hi, Elena.
Hi, Max. The Cubs season is in full swing, and fans are optimistic about the team so far.
The Chicago Cubs are a little over a month into the season, and fans are very optimistic about the team so far.
Everyone's just doing really well, and they're coming together as a team, and yeah, it's just been a great season so far.
I think it's going to be exciting for you're just looking at the home runs they're getting, the hits they're getting. Defensively, they're fantastic. And I'm looking so forward to be here, and I've been here every game already.
Some of the most exciting factors for fans about this year's Cubs team are the youthful new players and the unity of the team.
We've got young new players coming out here. It's exciting to come to the ball game, and they're trying. They all come together. The one thing that I really love is like when one of the pitchers are struggling, they all come from the infield all together as one. They're working as a whole.
I'm loving all the new pickups. Team's chemistry is amazing. I think just it's all coming together.
I'm just so happy for this year. Exciting. Can't wait till it continues.
The Cubs finished their homestand with a series win against the Padres before taking the road to play the Marlins and the Nationals. From Chicago, Elena Shklar, CAN TV.
Some of the biggest names in Street League skateboarding made a stop in Chicago this past week to show off their skills and compete for a championship title. Take a look. The Street League Skateboarding Championship Tour kicked off the first of their 4 championship tour stops right here in Chicago with the goal of exciting fans and continuing to grow the sport of skateboarding.
I just can't wait to see all the guys that I grew up watching in person. Every year I watch SLS on YouTube whenever they post the reels, but to see it in person, I'm just super stoked. I think it's going to be awesome.
But going for it on the switchback.
I think people see skateboarders as outcasts. I don't think it's a very popular sport. So to see it in a big arena like this, see it posted up in the middle of Chicago, see all the people out here, I think it's just bringing light to the sport. I think it's going to do a lot for skateboarding, and it's awesome to see people excited lining up at the doors already. So I think it's awesome.
So fakey.
I think it's just a community thing. I think people who skateboard, it's like there's an endurance thing and a mentality to it that people like to bond over. When you can't land a trick, you either give up or you don't, and the people who don't give up, that's what bonds people. So I think it's the skateboarding community that just comes together over it.
His first time. Is that
Hi, I'm Jessica Christopher with Entertainment News. Students at the Art Institute of Chicago put on an exhibit this week. The works were a collaborative effort between the young artists and mentors who advised them not on just art, but on life experiences. Hayes Owens is live with more. Hi, Hayes.
Hi, Jessica. This project brought together 2 populations, the LGBTQ youth and elders who rarely get to interact, but now they can over art. Take a look.
Thank you all for coming to the LGBTQIA+ Intergenerational Dialogue Project exhibition!
Students from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago cut poster boards, do makeup, and work to add final touches for their first public expedition art show.
Over half of the people creating art have never done any art before. And so this is really about, for us, using art as another form of dialogue between generations.
Over the course of a semester, 30 people worked together to create art that represented their experiences individually and as a community. A mentee and mentor shares why this experience matters.
Never have received an opportunity where I could interact with my seniors or people who came before me.
I made it to be a senior as a lesbian, and I never had any seniors when I was a younger to look up to.
One director shares his hopes for the future.
Spread the word about the importance and joy and need for intergenerational dialogue amongst LGBTQ+ folks.
From downtown Chicago, I'm Hayes Owens, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Hayes. We're sticking with that theme in this next story. It's Chicago Fashion Week. I had the pleasure of attending the Transmedia Fashion Show at the Water Tower Place. With the attacks on the trans community at the legislative level throughout the country, the fashion show had a special meaning. Take a look.
We should all have the right to be who we want, what we want, and when we want, okay?
Fashion Bar hosts Chicago Fashion Week at the Water Tower Place. And the Transmedia Fashion Show drew hundreds to the runway on Thursday.
Transmedia Fashion Show has been around for 6 years, and it transpired out of a dream of 3 words: transmedia fashion.
Chicago is an important nexus for the country, especially Illinois, and what's going on right now all across the country with the legislation against the LGBTQ community. Illinois is a bastion of safety for us. And I think it's important to have fashion be elevated here in the city because fashion is life. Fashion is representation and sharing our stories and who we are with everyone. And so when you have people like Tony and the many other advocates here in the city that want to show these stories, it helps everyone.
Through that, then we will be able to radiate the strength and the power that our community needs to move forward.
Last year, the first runway I walked, Tony and I talked about gender equity and inclusion right from the runway. And if these kids can see what I'm doing, and I can say, you can do it too.
Music lovers celebrated National Record Day. Yes, record stores are still out there, but the numbers keep getting smaller. Lena Folk visited one store where the customers still prefer vinyl over streaming. Hi, Lena.
That's right, Jessica. I went to Wicker Park, where people say that records are a timeless way of playing music.
Wicker Park's Sugar Records honors National Record Store Day, a late April holiday dedicated to promoting independently owned vinyl shops and local music.
Well, first off, every year we try to order as many as we can of every title on the list.
I like the album covers mostly. I love the album artwork. I went to art school, so I'm all about that.
With over 400,000 records, CDs, and cassette tapes, Sugar Records strives to represent all genres of music.
We do kind of try to have a bit of everything for any audience. You know, you can go down and buy some rare local jazz punk guys you've never heard of, but we still got Taylor Swift on the shelf.
In a modern age where music has evolved into streaming services, one might think there isn't a use for record stores. However, Sugar Records says that vinyl is still a valuable aspect of music enjoyment.
The LP has always just been you got 2 sides of 12 minutes, every song's going to be played in that order. The constraints kind of make it a unique way to put together music.
It's a good gift. You can't really gift a streaming thing or just a singular song. If you know the person who really likes this one artist or album or single, you could just very easily give it to them.
From Wicker Park, Lena Folk, Chicago This Week.
Finally tonight, organizers aren't afraid to call this next event weird, but it's also popular, fun, and tasty. I'm talking about Pickle Fest. It's a real thing. It came to Chicago and Kennedy Chase was there. Tell me about it, Kennedy.
Yeah, Brenda, the Pickle Fest in Wrigleyville was definitely a fun experience. From pickle-themed drinks and foods to even live band performances. I'd say the Pickle Fest was kind of a big deal.
On the corner of Addison and Clark Street, located across from Wrigley Field, was an event to celebrate a sour treat.
I love pickles. I love pickles.
You really love pickles, I'm sure.
Yes.
Pickles. The Pickle Fest came to Wrigleyville for the first time as a new spring event for Chicagoans to enjoy.
So you need something a little weird to fill the time. It's kind of how we feel. So we picked a weird event to put on, and it's going well. Wish the weather would be a little nicer, but we're having fun. It's a good time.
Even with 50-degree temperatures and pouring rain, the line to enter the Cubby Bear was wrapped around the building, filled with anxious customers waiting to partake in all the pickle fun.
Rain or shine, the weather today did not put these people in a pickle to be here at the Pickle Fest today. Are you guys excited? Yes, we're doing it for the dill.
With this being the inaugural Pickle Fest, people from Chicago and other surrounding cities came to engage in the event for some adventure.
And I thought it would be a great adventure to try all kinds of different pickle varieties and drinks.
From peculiar pickle drinks to unusual pickle foods, the Pickle Fest was definitely one of a kind.
Brenda, this was the first ever Pickle Fest, and they're going to continue to make this an annual event after this year. So Brenda, do you like pickles?
Yes, Kennedy, Clausen, dill, fried, I love them all. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, everyone.